Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? How is everyone today? Welcome today. Welcome back to another stream of your favorite global hack week. Remember, we are in the month of August data. So, if you're learning anything about machine learning, data, or I don't know, data science, data engineering, things like that. I hope that all your workshop have been really, really cool. And I hope this is not the exception. So, hi, Kagori. Hi, Bruce. Hi, everyone. So, welcome today. So, we had another stream. I think it was Monday. So, Monday we tried to learn like basics of React and how to fetch data and things like that. So let me know in the comments if you've never used React ever before, and also let me know if you ever tried to build things with the stock information. If you ever use a stock API, so things like that. So yeah. So in all my streams, I try to give like 5 minutes of a cool thing called the Student Developer Pack. It is from GitHub. So let me just share my screen and tell you a little bit more about the Student Developer Pack. So share my screen right now. And um, okay, so I think now you should be able to see everything. Let me know if you are. Yeah, I think now you're able to see everything. So yeah, so this is the part where I'll talk you a little bit more about the GitHub Student Developer Pack. If you're a student, this is a really awesome thing for you. If you like to build React applications, APIs, and things like that, I think the GitHub Student Developer Pack is one of the greatest packs of all the internet. Like, I think it's the only pack that gives you like tools to learn to ship software like a pro, like the page says. So yeah, the GitHub Student Developer Pack basically is like toolbox, a digital toolbox that gives you a lot of things like the experiences of how to build things like developer operations, your profile, like mobile app development, like data science and machine learning experience. It offers you like tons of bundles that you can use to learn things about like how to build pipelines, develop pipelines, how to build a mobile application, how to use um, the tools that GitHub give you to build data science application, machine learning application, things like that. So I think this developer pack is valued in $3,000. So if you, for only being a student, receive like 200 credits for DigitalOcean, like 100 credits for a Microsoft Azure and things like that. So if you're building React applications, you want to ship it to production or to the internet so everyone can see it. For example, my React application.com or things like that. Uh, maybe you build your portfolio and you want everyone to enter to my portfolio.me. So if you want web page name and domain for you. You have Namecheap, you have name.com, you have tech domains. Hey, do you want to build an API? You have Heroku. Hey, do you want to build things in the cloud? You have DigitalOcean, you have Microsoft Azure. If you want to use the Microsoft Azure cognitive services, computer vision, or I don't know, virtual machines and things like that. You can use anything like that. Hey, do you want to build a Minecraft server with your friends and do things in your Minecraft server? And you can host it in DigitalOcean with these credits. And I think this is about like 3 or 4 months of a Minecraft server. Like you can build, just buy a virtual machine and start your server with your friends. So that is so cool. Hey, do you want to ready yourself for your next technical interview? You have Educative, you have algoexpert.io, and you have the awesome thing about these pages is that they learn you, like they teach you how to prepare for an interview. Algoexpert also has like preparation for algorithms and also front end interviews and things like that. So that is one of the greatest things that you can use. You can learn how to use databases, how to use MongoDB, how to build your next portfolio, even if you don't know how to build a web page. you have Bootstrap Studio. It is a great drag and drop tool that you can use everywhere, and you can build your pages like in 5 minutes. Also, you have DataCamp. If you are learning, like this is Data August, you can use DataCamp for learn um, basics of data science, data engineering, ML ops, and things like that. So, like you see, you have a lot of tools. You have hundreds of tools, thousands of tools that you can use for build a lot of things. Please use it. Please, if you are a student, just go here, enter to education.github.io, or just Google GitHub Student Developer Pack. Go to this page and sign up for your Student Developer Pack. And if you're a student, just pick the button of Get Student Benefits and be prepared to give something like an ID or I don't know, like your cardex or things like that, things that has your grades. There's some kind of identification that you can do, or maybe just give you educational email like, hey, this is my university. So if you have a university or college or high school email, just put it here and try to validate it. So yeah, those were the 5 minutes of the stream where I uh, teach you a little bit more about the GitHub Student Developer Packs. So yeah, GitHub, that is one of the greatest things. The Student Developer Pack also gives you GitHub Copilot, and another cool thing that we're going to talk about is the GitHub Code Spaces. So let me search GitHub Code Spaces. And let me share my screen again. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Indigo. I love to see you every in all my streams. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, we're talking about like my 5 minutes of the GitHub Student Developer Pack and uh, the GitHub Code Spaces time. So I haven't finished talking about the GitHub Code Spaces, but this will be like 2 minutes. So yeah, GitHub Code Spaces. So what it is GitHub Code Spaces is just like have you ever had a situation where, hey, I want to build my things, or I'm going to my school, I'm going to high school or to my college, but the computers in my college are like 10 years old, like they have like 2 gigabytes of RAM and processor of like 1992 or something like that. Like basically, my computer is old. I don't have enough power to build my last React application with a lot of cool stuff, CSS and things like that. So hey, don't worry about it. You have GitHub is here for you. GitHub has built with a lot of persons and cool developers the GitHub Code Spaces. GitHub Code Spaces is basically your favorite IDE, Visual Studio Code. Uh, it is running in the cloud right now, so you don't have to worry about the processes that are running in your computer. Everything is going to be run in the cloud. You basically have like Visual Studio Code, but like your web application is going to be running in the cloud. You're just not going to use any kind of resources from your computer or anything like that. And because it is Visual Studio Code, it also has like all your favorite extensions, all your favorite themes, and a lot of personalized things that you can do. Like, hey, do you want to use Live Server? Do you want to use Docker? Do you want to use Preter? Do you want to use S-Lane? You have a lot of things that you can use here. You can use it everywhere. The cool thing about this is that it is free. If you're a student, it is free. It gives you like, I think it is like 80 hours. So yeah. If you're not a student, you have like 60 hours a month. But if you are not, if you are a student, you have like, I don't know if it is 120 hours or anything like that. So let me see. Surprising. Um, yeah, to be honest, I don't know, but yeah, you'll see. So yeah, now we have talked enough about GitHub Code Spaces, but why don't we go into building something with GitHub Code Spaces? So we already started a repository Monday. So I know that this is part one, but like I'm seeing that a lot of you have a little bit more of experience. I'm going to share with you. Uh, oh no, this is Twitter. What I'm doing in Twitter. Yeah. So let me share with you the this story and yeah, I think now you can use the repository. So yeah, that is a repository. If you have like the moment, like if you want to fork it, if you want to start something else, but like we say, we used GitHub Code Spaces. We talk about GitHub Code Spaces. Also, this is my profile. If you want to follow each other, just I'm going to share with you my GitHub profile, and voila, this is GitHub Code Spaces. Oh yeah, now it's sharing. So yeah, like you can see, you have like your repository and you have like Visual Studio Code, the things that you want. And the cool thing about it is that after you fork that repository, you can just go here, click into the code button and start a new code spaces. Because I already have one, I don't have like the button, but you, as you open that, you see something like create a new code space and just click into create. And after creating, you're going to see some things like setting up your code space and stuff like that. So yeah, now you can see that you have Visual Studio Code in your browser and you don't have to worry about anything like that. Will we using a database in this project? We will not be using a database in this project, but we'll be using an API. We're going to build a chart, a stock tracker, like stock market tracker. I don't know how is this called, but basically is some like, let me search it because I had it right here. We're going to build a stock price movement chart for this. So we'll have entered to the basics about uh, what. Let me share my screen. Yeah, now you can see it. So we're going to build something like this. We're going to understand how to use Polygon.io to fetch all the data from the API of Polygon, and how to build charts like this that gives you information about like the stock value of any kind of stock like Apple stock, Amazon stock, or things like that. And the cool thing about this is that I don't know if we're going to have enough time in this stream, but maybe in the next stream we're going to build a part when we fetch in each time, like in each minute, the closing value of that stock. So we're going to be updating our chart like each minute dynamically. So this should do something like this, like, hey, do you want to see something a little bit more uh, earlier or anything like that? So how my has my stock changed in the last minutes or things like that? Like how has the stock value changed? Yeah, so how do you get to the code spaces? So let me just go again. And so the first thing for getting code spaces, you should enter to github.io. You can just Google GitHub. After entering into your GitHub dashboard, you're going to create a new repository. You're going to give it a name, start everything. But for now, we already made a repository, so you can just fork it. I think it is in the stream chat, but if not, let me pass it again. So you can fork this repo and start your code space by just clicking into code. You're going to see something like this, I think, like local, but you're going to see this window that says code spaces. So you should just change to code spaces. And after changing to code spaces, you should just click into like a green button that says create a code space. And after creating this code space, you're going to see something like setting up your code space or things like that. And with that, that should be everything. You should see something like this, like page.js. um, on the last stream, we were fetching data from it. We learned how to fetch data, and let me just make a quick summary of it. A quick thing that you need to do is to go into your folder that contains the project. So for switching to your folder, you should just move with CD. The name of the folder is real-time currencies. So real-time currencies. and you should see something like this. So because it is my project, I have my local files in my computer or in my code space in this occasion. I have already installed things, but not everyone has it, or like not your code space has not already installed that stuff, right? So for doing that, you should just use something like npm install or like npm I or npm install, and everything should be like updated in a few seconds. Code spaces is really quick, so don't worry about it. And blah blah blah. Let's not share my screen. So I think now you should be able to see it. Yeah, for the API, we're going to use the Polygon.io stocks API, and we share it again. Think now you should be able to go. So again, let me go again because my screen was not sharing itself. So yeah, you're going to fork this project, and after forking it, you're going to see something like this. After seeing it, you just need to install all your dependencies, and for installing all your dependencies you should first move to the folder of the project. So to moving into the folder, you should use something like cd real-time currencies, and you should run the command npm I or npm install, and everything should be updated in just a few seconds. So now, because we're using Next.js, it is a framework of React. So for running like your page, you should use the command npm run dev, and now you can see that everything is running up. Like if you have ever used something like React or like Python, like if you're able to build an API or anything like that, you know that all your application is going to be running in something like localhost or anything like that. Code spaces use ports. In this case, you can go to the port window and just click into the opening browser. It has like an internet icon, so you can just click it out, and you should see something like hello world, like connected to forwarded port. And after that, you see something like hello world. This is what we built. So I think you are not able to see it right now. Uh, okay, yeah, I'll switch real quick. Sorry, Wolf. Sorry for that. Let me change it to dark. GitHub dark. Is that better? I to a funny thing that I found the other day was something like uh, Oppenheimer or Barbie. I There you go, Barbie Heimer. Um, I think it is Oppenheimer. Bar- Barbenheimer. I found this gem in Visual Circle. So let me see how does this look here. I mean, it's not bad, right? So it's not my favorite, but hey, let's just follow the trend of Barbenheimer. So if you don't like it, we can switch it. We can just switch it itself. Yeah, so yeah, we have already this. So again, if you want, if your eyes are burning right now, just let me know and I'll switch it like to the other, to the classic GitHub dark them. But if not, we can continue. Like I said, you should first run npm run dev, and you see something like event compiled client server successfully, and after that you go to ports, and you can access to your page by just clicking into the port 300, I mean 3000, and you should just click into this icon, and you see something like hello world. If you click and inspect this page, you're going to see in the console that you are fetching data from the Polygon API. So you should see something like object and results, and you'll see an array. So for seeing that in the stream, just let me check it. Uh, Let me stop sharing my screen and change the screen like the entire screen. Sorry for the thousand tabs opened. So yeah, I think that you are now able to see everything. So we have something like this. Like we have an object, we have an array, and that array is fetching data from the API of Polygon. So before continuing, let's jump into the Polygon API. So let me share with you again the Polygon API. Wow, I didn't know that Ryan Gosling had like an API, and also I think that you're not you didn't see like this like uh, again you have this after entering to the localhost 3000 port, you're going to see a hello world page, and if you inspect this page, you're going to see something like this, like, hey, I have 1,000 of objects, I don't know what they mean, don't worry about it, I don't know it neither. So no. So basically, we have a lot of stock info. This is O, that is the open value. We have like height, that is the highest value. We have L, that is the lowest value, and we have C, that is the closing value of it. So for building just basic data or basic charts, we will need something like the closing value and the timestamp that we used to fetch this information. So for doing it, we will for fetching this, we are using the API of Polygon. So what is Polygon? Polygon is like it's an API that gives you a lot of information about stock data. You can use it for building a lot of applications. You can use it for tons of things. One of the uses is of the stock applications. Um, for example, if you want to see information about the Apple stock, you can just try to ask to Polygon, hey, give me information about Apple, but in some kind of ways. So these are the kind of ways or the intuitive ways that you can use Polygon. You can build candlestick charts, technical indicators, snapshots, and things like that. Don't worry about if you don't know what this means. Like we're going to discover both of them. Like I'm going to discover also how does this work because I don't know anything about stocks. I just learned like some basic things. So yeah, so for getting aggregates or bars, we're going to fetch this. So we can have something like Apple, like the Apple stock, and we're going to use like as you can see, we have a lot of things like, hey, what is the ticker symbol of the stock, or which stock do you want to use? Which timestamp do you want to use? Hey, do you want it in hours, minutes, and things like that? So we're going to use it in minutes. And from when do you want it? From when do you want to have the information, until when do you want to end that fetch information? So also you can sort it, you can limit it, and also you can adjust it. So what do you think if we use something like minutes? Or for just getting it, we're going to use hours. Hmm. Let's use minutes. So we're going to use minutes, and with those minutes, we're going to. So this is in the format of year, month, and day. So today is 8 2 to 2, and we can just make the fetch. So we can run the query and your network is infusion. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, freak. Yeah, so now that's a problem. So can we, instead of doing this then from yesterday? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Uh, okay, so we have from yesterday until today, we're going running into minutes so we can see the full response. So we have the query count of 120 and we have all this information. The only problem is I don't know how does this works. Like we have the data, but we don't have the information of um, of the timestamp where we are fetching it. So I think T is like the timestamp. So let me just getting this in from timestamp to, yeah, because I think this is like the timestamp. Uh, but I think I can get this graded by this. Response attributes, we have the standard result array, and we have C, that is the close price, H, the highest price, L, the lowest price, the number of transactions in aggregate window, the open price of the symbol, and we have the, yeah, this is the timestamp. Yeah. So if we pass this timestamp that we got here into something like date to timestamp or timestamp to date, let's try to see what this does. So this is Tuesday from 8. All right. So this is, all right. So this is August 8th, 1st of August, and the hours is 8 o'clock. So that is that. So, let me see, like, no, what did I do? The last information that we got. So this is uh ever this is the latest timestamp, and this is until yesterday at 12. So we have a lot of minutes. So we don't have like all the minutes that we want, but we can work that, I think. So Indigo has a cool idea of making it like having the stonks swing. So I like that idea. So let me search it. Stonks. All right. So which one should we use it? Uh, so let me search like wallpaper. Stonks wallpaper. I think we can use that like as our background uh, of the page. So let me see if we have something else like. All right, this is great. So let me open this in the page to try to download. Wow, this is great. All right, so let's just try to use this. Save image as a wallpaper. And I think we should now use this and pass it into our public area. So again, if this is the first time that you're seeing Next.js or anything like this, don't worry about it. We're going to jump into it real quick. So yeah, if you're now asking like, hey, what I'm doing, what is all this stuff? Don't worry about it. Like we are using Next.js, but it is a framework of React. Um, nextjs.org. And it is a React framework from the web. It uses render size rendering. You can dynamically do things with a lot of HTML and things that maybe can blow your mind. But don't worry about this. We're not going to do a lot of stuff with this. But it is greater than React. Like even the React developers in React.dev recommend to use instead of React, create React app like just Next.js. So, so yeah, if you want to something like your first application, you can install it with this like installation. Like they recommend you to just install Next.js, but I don't. Yeah. So yeah, here it is. For installing, you just need to run to your terminal like the npx create React project, create React app, next app, sorry. And after that, you can just follow the Next.js documentation tutorial. And yeah, um, so now you're seeing your folder that is real-time currencies. You have a lot of folders, so don't worry about it. You don't care about the node models, so you don't need to care about the node models or the .next folders. Also, don't worry about the package, the next config or the slink JSON and things like that. Basically, it is configuration that we're using for running our next application. And I think that you need to know is like in Python, like if you ever use Python, you're like require this file is like the same file as requirements.txt that you run when you run like pip for installing all your dependencies. It is the same thing. We're using a file for importing all of the or dependencies of the project to run some scripts into it and things like that. And the one that you care is where all your project is your source slash app and your public files. So public, we use it for storing assets or things like CSS or JavaScript or things like that. And also you can use it for whatever you want. But most of it of the usage is like just getting some assets or things, and after that, we have our source slash app folder. Everything is here, like all your files that you want are here, like your layout, your pages, your models, like your CSS and things like that. So you don't need to worry about all this stuff. We're going to jump it real quick. So a cool thing that we use in React is something that it's called creating a components folder. And for me, well, I learned that it is a good practice for each component that you're creating, just making like following how is this called? Is it was like Pascal? Like Pascal case or anything like that. For example, if we are going to use something like chart uh, and name it something like chart like index.js. Basically, you're going to build all your component here and you're going to import it into your page.js. That is basically your main page that is going to do all your stuff here. And yeah, so a component is basically like a part of your HTML that you're using or a part of your page. For example, if we go into this, maybe I want to create a component that displays or has some kind of attribute for displaying code into my page, right? So I can just create a component that always has a background color, like a dark background color, and it runs some kind of or has already configured like colors for each kind of text depending on the kind of language that I'm using or things like that. Or maybe I can just create a component for creating my left bar, my right bar, my top bar, and things like that on my page. So we're going to jump into it right now. So yeah, the first thing that we're going to learn is what is page.js. So page.js is again your main file that you're using where everything is going to be running. So the first thing that we're seeing here is something called use client. So I think of Next.js is it is fully well, it is a framework that is um, targeting always to server-side rendering. That is another thing that I need to explain, but I'm going to explain it later. So the only thing that you need to worry about is that we're using this client so Next.js doesn't die or doesn't explode and says like, hey, you're not using you're using client rendering like server client no like client side rendering instead of server side rendering. So please, if you're going to render things in your computer or in this part of the client computer, please use client. And so we are using it. And after that, we have some things like components, like image component. We're importing our styles. And also we're using some hooks of React that are called useEffect and useState. So we're going to jump into it later. We're also importing result, but I think we're not using it today. So yeah, I'm not going to talk about result. But yeah, so let's jump into user state. So basically, user state is, you can imagine it if you ever use Python or anything like that. Like it's a variable. We're using a variable and we're trying to do some things with this variable. So in JavaScript, or in React, we start a state by saying const and opening a list. A state uses something like two arguments. The first argument is the name of your state, or like the trackable name that I React can track to get you the value of that. And after that, you can use set and the name of your state. So for example, we were fetching Pokemon data in the first stream. So set Pokemon data basically is like a function that updates the value of data state. So because we're fetching that Pokemon data as a JSON data, we were using an object, and a Pokemon image was also fetched, and the same thing. We have the name of the state and the function that updates the state. And because the Pokemon image was an URL of the image, we started it as a string, right? So also, as we can see, we are using the use effect hook. The use effect hook basically is a function or a hook in React. Hooks in React are cool functions already pre-built that you can use to try to work with the React environment or the React page that you are using. You can use it to track, to like handle states, handle kind of specific states that you build. You can use it to handle something like the React DOM or things like that. It is a little bit complicated to explain right now, but the only thing that you need to know is that we're using the use effect function that basically it is a hook that waits until something in this list has changed or like gets updated or changes in any kind of time and runs itself, or yeah, runs itself. I can say it like that way. So use effect receives two arguments. The first argument is the function that we're going to run, and the second argument is like the list that is going to have like the the variables or the states or anything that is going to like the state that use effect is going to be observing until it changes, and when it changes it's going to run itself. So again, we have a function that gets the information that we need from the API of Polygon. So basically we do a try catch for fetching that API, and because it is asynchronous, we are waiting until it ends. So what does it mean asynchronous? So we're running all the code uh, at the same time, like we're running this function at the same time as all my code is running itself. So imagine that in functional programming, I wait until this function ends and then I do something. But in this case, because we're using asynchronous, we're running everything that is here while we are running also all these things in the code. So yeah, we're doing like parallel at the same time. So because we're waiting to get something, maybe my computer, the information that I want to get is in another part of the world, maybe it is in other part of the server or anything like that. Like I don't know, maybe it is to uh, it is in some part of the world, and I'm in Mexico, right? So yeah, so I need to wait until my server returns something to me, and when I'm waiting, I'm running code. So we just for doing that, we use something called promises. The promises are like, hey, I'm going to respond to you, but wait until I finish getting your request, right? So maybe the server of the API explodes. Maybe it has a lot of traffic and it cannot respond me like immediately. So I need to wait until the request has already finished itself. Like I don't know. I'm fetching data, but I'm waiting until the promise finishes itself. So, if, for example, if I fetch this URL, if I try to make the request of getting some information from that API, I need to wait until the server gets sends me a response, right? So that is why we use the await. We use the hey, wait until we have the information, and if we have something like an information, if we receive a response, then pass the response and convert it into JSON. But because we're using the data value, data is waiting until this fetch ends, right? And because we're using that kind of variable, a variable that is waiting the server to response, we're using the await again. Like, hey, await until we have like already a response, and after that, convert that data into JSON, and then we print it into our console. So because we are not running it, we're not calling that get info function. We're running it again. Like, hey, I'm going to declare my function here, but every time something in this list changes or changes its value or anything like that, run this function. So I first declare it and then I run it. So because as you can see, I'm talking about a lot of, hey, this is going to observe something, will do changes and things like that. But there's nothing here, right? There's nothing in this list. So in that case, this use effect is just going to run whenever we refresh that page. So it is just going to run one time. Whenever my component is going to be rendered itself. So yeah, that I think that is another way to explain use effect. It is going to wait until something else changes, and when something changes, it is going to be render itself. So, for example, imagine that I have my Pocket data and I'm displaying the image of Dido or anything like that. And if the Dido image has already changed to something like Pikachu, I'm going to change my string my Pokemon image state. So that means then I'm going to render something else. So if the Pokemon image is here, I'm going to wait until I change the image, and then I'm going to run again the function here. So I know it is a lot of information. Don't worry about it. If you have any question, please let me know. But yeah, I hope with this now we can understand a little bit more what we're doing here. And with that, now we can start into our other part of the code. So as you can see here, we have the return. The return part is where we usually put JSX code. That JSX is something like HTML combined with JavaScript. So, for example, here I'm using a JavaScript object. Here I'm using a variable. I'm pointing a variable. I'm putting also an object here that is a CSS, and also I have a state here that this state is an object and has things like that, right? And I'm using JavaScript for for trying to render conditionally these things. So if I have a Pokemon image and if I have a Pokemon data, then render the image and the Pokemon name. But if not, don't render anything. Just let the hello world exist. But as we know, we're not going to manage Pokemon data in this case. So we're going to fetch stock information. So let's sorry for that. Let's try to change this to stock information. Mm, stock info and set stock info, stock information, and blah, 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 stock info, and we're going to receive an object. Actually, we're going to receive an array of objects. So let me change this to the array of objects, and we're not going to display anything. So I forgot to run this query. I think it was the one. No, what is this? Yeah, now we got it. So yeah, we have this the query that we wanted. And now we have this. And let me just hide this. And now we have the API of Polygon. So let me just quit this. And we should use this. And instead of doing this, we should use the API key. So the API key is just a Polygon API key that you can have that. I think you can go to a dashboard and API keys. And after that, you can go into your API keys, copy your API, and you don't necessarily need to do it this way. You can just copy and paste the request. But I think it is a good practice to have this API key as a constant that is never going to change and put it in the string like this way. And for putting variables into a string, you need to first use like surround the string by apostrophes and just use the symbol of dollar and then open brackets and put the API key here. So yeah, that is what we're doing. We're going to fetch that information. So with this, we should now be able to fetch everything here. Let me just inspect this and let me run this again. And are we seeing errors? No, we're not seeing the errors. We're seeing the results array. So the results array is this. And okay, so we have all the results that we want. So now the question is, how do we manage to put everything here that we have in the result array into the into a state, right? So for that, we just need to update the state, right? So before doing that, let me see if I run JSON data the results. If anything changes, and yeah, now we have the 120 requests of this, right? So as you can remember, we have this function that updates the information that we have, right? So for doing this, we should just use the set stock info here. And after doing that, we should use something like um, the JSON data that results. And after that, now we should be able to see anything, right? So as I said, this effect, we can use it to do something, run some function when something changes, right? So we can, for knowing that we can get our, that we have already successfully run our JSON data into like sending it into our state, we can just console log of the set stuff the info and to our um, yeah, our use effect, right? So for doing that, we should use also um, wait until the set stock info, like sorry, like the stock info, and also wait until the stock info changes, right? So again, first we first fetch the data from the API. After it changes and we receive this response, we convert it into a JSON so we can read it. And after that, we're going to pass the JSON data into the state object, well, the state that we built of the stock info. And we're using another use effect for waiting until the stock info changes so we can see that it has changed successfully. So with this, we should be able to do something like this. Um, and yeah, we have the information right now. So let me just put something like, hey, now I'm in a state, stock info, and yeah. So as you can see now, all of our information is in our use effect and into a stock info state. Now we can use that as information that is into our state and do something with it. So as you know, we receive all this information, all of this information, but the only one that we're going to use is the timestamp information and the closing information that basically is the closing value of data stock into this timestamp. So for example, hey, in this timestamp, the stock value, open it with this value and close it with this value. And as you can see, it is different from 25 seconds. And that is, I think it is because it is a minute, it changed a lot. But if you change it in a second, I think it should stay like open and close at the same time. I don't know how stuff works, so I'm sorry for that. But we're going to see how this works. So as we said, we were going to build some kind of charts, right? I was thinking about using Apex charts, but let me know if you have another opinion. Like, hey, you should use React charts. You should use any other kind of thing. So Apex, I like a lot Apex charts because the kind of tools that it has to make a zoom or try to download the SVG, the PNG, and the CSV, right? But I think the thing that we didn't care about, or like we didn't do anything with it, was to was the most important one. Like, hey, how can you not put already the stonks option, the songs meme here? So let me just open my file folder and go into downloads, and let me put the wallpaper into the public one. And yeah, now we can see the wallpaper. So the most important part, totally forgot what about it. So yeah, sorry for that. So so yeah, now let me change this into styles main, blah blah blah. Styles, where are you? Styles. So let me go to styles and let me change it to styles is page model. And yeah, so we use styles and page models that CSS styles. Oh, styles. We have the description in the main. So let me change the background color of main. And background image is going to be the URL. I think it was, and the URL was um, like this. Yeah, right. So to be honest, I totally forget how to manage how to update the background image. So let me just check background uh, image and background. Am I off train? No, I'm not. Huh, so why does go? Yeah. So let me first read you all of you. So will there be swag drop? Let me think about it because I don't have any t-shirts for this stream, but maybe in the weekend we'll have some. We can have some t-shirts. Let me see if I have some t-shirt codes. So I don't know if Indigo, did you won like the did you won like the last time, right? Like I gave you a t-shirt code of for a GitHub t-shirt, but have you already get it? Like has it been already in your hand? Have you already have it in your hands or anything like that? All right, so let's continue. Can you give? All right, so I think I did a real recap of Polygon. Uh, yeah, yeah. Please, 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 please do that, Indigo. Um, so let me know if you want already, like, if you want anything, if you want me to recap what we did into the Polygon API. Uh, just by this tutorial, thank you so much for that. Where will not you? No, I don't know. I like it. I don't like a lot Tailwind. Like that, I think that commentary, like that comment, is a little bit controversial. Uh, so Tailwind is basically a CSS kind of library. No, no, it is not a CSS library. I think it is like can we call it like a CSS framework because we don't write like CSS. We write Tailwind. So basically, we use it from another kind of. Let me share my screen to try to explain this because I think this is really interesting to say. It is like a CSS framework that we use into our HTML, React code, or anything like that to build applications really fast in a really fast way. But everything is like in just one part. Like commonly, we divide our code. Like when we're building pages, we try to divide the HTML from the CSS and from the JavaScript, right? JavaScript frameworks do another thing. They combine HTML with JavaScript and try to do awesome things with CSS, like combining JavaScript functions with CSS or things like that. Like they combine it itself, but it's it's a good practice to combine it to divide like your CSS models from your HTML code or your React components and things like that, right? But Tailwinds like change all the the things that we do. So let me add again this. So you can see here like this is Tailwind CSS. Uh, as you can imagine, like we have some kind of a new syntax that we use to build uh, our web pages, like our web applications and all this stuff. So you can see that this is dynamically do like this page renders the Tailwind code dynamically, and yeah, so you can do a lot of stuff with Tailwind. To be honest, I don't like it a lot, but basically you can use it as you want. Like, hey, do you want to just create augment like 96 pixels that your bar or anything like that? Put it in code. Ensure that the background is going to be white and the shadow is going to be that is going to have shadows and the border radius is going to be a rounded one. And yeah, like you can build a lot of things with Tailwind. It looks real cool. uh, I'm a lover of, or like I'm in the team of vanilla CSS and keep it a little bit simple, because when you build applications and you are like growing the application, it is escalating and a lot of stuff. When you have like thousands of components and things like that, it is a little bit harder for me to get the track of which file has the CSS for which file, and that is my problem with Tailwind. But yeah, that is Tailwind in long story short. So yeah, yeah, that is a really cool project idea. Yeah, 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 that is just a fake. Ha, 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 ha. Blah, 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 blah. So what does the yeah? So that array in the use effect function is waiting. Like imagine it like a Minecraft observer. Let me again search it like this, like Minecraft observer. Like all the React hooks are like basically redstone things. Like you can imagine it like that. So basically, this is a Minecraft observer. So what does the observers does in Minecraft is like, hey, it waits until something passes into that observer to turn on like the redstone. So if you ever build like a redstone thing in Minecraft, like if you ever use redstone and I don't know a plank or anything like that, you know that the redstone can be turned on and off, right? Like a switch. Like this plank works like basically a switch that you can use for turning on the light or turning off, right? So what the observer does is like it waits until some object passes from it, and if that object passes from it, like it can be a zombie, it can be a villager, it can be a creeper or anything like that, or maybe it can be I don't know, some kind of mob. You can use it, and if something passes from his range of vision, it is going to turn on the redstone that is connected to it. So you can imagine it like this. So you can imagine it like an observer in Minecraft. It is observing something that is in that list, and it waits until it changes. Like it is observing it, and like I don't know, like if you're crazy and you're watching something like a fly and wait into it flies itself, or if you're watching something like ants and wait until they got like a leaf and charge it and get it into their house or anything like that, like yeah, it is going to wait until it changes, and when it changes, it's going to run the function that you declare into the use effect. So again, like this, like as you can see, we have two use effects. The first use effect runs whenever the page loads, and the second one is waiting until the stock information updates itself or changes, because when we first start the page, the stock information is just an empty array, it doesn't have anything. But because we are using the set stock information, we're updating it like, hey, wait until this gets information, and after getting that information, please compare that information into a JSON so we can read it. And after that, update my static stock information array with the information that I just fetched. All the information objects, like the array of objects that I have, put it into my stock info state or my stock info value. You can imagine it as a value. But the user state um, watches or observes that it has changed already. Like, hey, this is not all is not empty right now. It changed. It now has information. It now has value. It has tons of values. So because it has changed, run the function that you have here into the use effect. So this function is a console log, and this is why we are seeing that, hey, now I'm in the state. We are seeing that console log here, like my state already changed. So because it has already changed, just run the function that is here. So again, let me continue with this. Can you quickly recap how to get the API key? You guys do the dashboard and select the dashboard is like up right, and after that you can just get the API key. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, sorry if you don't play Minecraft, but now you know it is like a electrical diagram. You can imagine like electricity. Like you have a switch, and instead of having a switch for turning on the light, you're watching until something happens. Maybe you're listening until something tells you like, "Hey, turn on the light," and whenever they stay with that, just switch to turn it up. So okay, I see that there are no comments in now. So yeah, let me push it into main. And blah, blah, blah. So let me just get it into fetch the information and do this. So now we have the confirmation and synchronize the changes, and now you should be able to see everything. And yeah, so now we have already built this, but we have not download or installed the dependencies of the Apex charge. So yeah, so let me just get into the to try to know how to solve this. So I think I should use this. And after doing this, or let me just make sure that I can use Apex charts with React. React. Yeah, basically it's a React Apex charts. Hmm. Haha. Yes, so you have a constructor and all this stuff. I don't know if I need this. Mm. Hmm. All right. So let me see if this is your development. All right. So I think I should go to the Apex chart here and just no. It is here, simple demo. Right. So we have the React, and let me see the line and basic line. And with this, we have the class Apex chart since React component. We receive series option the labels. And let me see it into the code sandbox. I think there was a code sandbox to see all the demos, but I don't know where they are. So demos, React. I think it was like into the code sandbox. Code sandbox, no, Apex charts, Apex charts code sandbox. Right, so we have the charts, line chart example, right? So we have now the line. So let me just drink a little bit of water. All right, so we have a line chart, and what does this line chart receives? So we have the component, and the chart just receives React output charts. Receive schema. Schema. I don't know what that is. All right. The schema is like all the options that we use. State the series. Use state. Schema. So we use the schema state, and this schema receives some options. Those options are the y-axis, and the y-axis is like the. All right, so we're receiving an array of objects, and after that, we're going to receive some other array of objects where we have an object that is the y-axis, and that object has an array of objects. The first one is for each line of y-axis that we want to declare. Support, what is the support one? Ordered color is y, what's its range, I think it's this one, the support one. And the other one is the y-axis range. All right, so we are just getting some y-axis annotations. And for the x-axis, we're doing another annotations like annotates. And all right, so now I get it. All right, so yeah, I think I get it. I'm going to base everything that we have here for doing that. And after getting the x-axis, we have the x2, border color, new date, x2, 26 November, 28 November, and then what do we have? All right, so we have points, and we have the first point, second point, the charts, and the levels, the strike, the grid, and title levels, and the series, month data. We have the series. All right, so we have another object. We're importing another object that import data as series from data. All right, so we have a model data that basically is a constant that has some objects, mod data series 1 and 2. All right, basically are months and dates. And yeah, I think we can do some stuff with this. All right, so that should be no problem. So, all right, so we should do something like this. We should try to get our state with the data and with each timestamp that we can use. But for displaying our time, because the API gives us a timestamp instead of a date. So, well, yeah, we can just separate like the values and the timestamp. Like I don't know what you no, like we have already built everything. Like we have already anything that we want. But I think that the thing that I'm thinking now is like how we're going to display that. How are we going to display everything that we want to build? Like for getting the y and x axis this. So let me go again and have the schema. And how do we build our schema? X axis. Right, Get time, stroke, no, the points, marker level, the charge height, the type, the ID, the levels, the stroke. We have the grid, then the title, language annotations, the labels, series that, one data series that dates, and the x-axis is just title. Okay, so also x-axis data time, the series are these ones. Right, so this is the first one. This is this series in the second series. All right, but I'm still doubting about how we're going to build this. So let me just go ahead, first install this. Let me copy this and directly getting it into our npm. Let me close this and from npm install public charts. And all right. right, so we have already installed it, and now let me in creating your first chart. So we have this, and I think it is the same thing, but we need the demos, the React one, and getting the line one, the basic line chart, and plus epic chart, React component, construction super prop state, series desktop, All right, so we have the render create element, custom container, right. Why does he have? I hate when they don't have demos right there. So let me see. We have a live chart up demo. All right. So he has a schema where it has like all the configuration of the chart. Then he has the data that is all the information. We don't need the data because we are getting everything from the API. And then he builds the component with this, with chart, the options, and the series. But should we use it in that way? Like we have the options, the chart, the height type line. Yeah, I think like all the charts are like a type of object, and all the or component on all the charts is expect like on the options, the series, the type of chart, and the height that we are going to do, right? Uh, the important thing is getting these options right. So we can see that we have the property option. No, let me copy it. We have this, and can we go? No, we cannot. Think I can do it with my mouse, but I have not my mouse in the hand. So give me 5 minutes until I go with for my mouse. Yeah, I'm back. So this is my mouse. This is Logitech G230, I think it is called. I don't remember. Let me know which mouse do you use. Do you like the Logitech ones? Are you more of Asus or the Corsair ones? To be honest, I like this a lot. It is like it is comfortable. It is not the most ergonomic one, and to be honest, I have been thinking of switching it to more ergonomic options. But the only bad thing about the yeah, yeah, the HP ones are the best. Yeah, I like a funny thing about the HP ones. Like you can hate them a lot, but they like have endurance like for 10 years, and they'll be working every time, right? So yeah, I have now my mouse, and um, so Ashutosh, I think it's pronounced. So Ashutosh, we are using the Apex Charts library for visualization. We're using this library, and we're trying to build something like like this kind of menu or this example. Like we're trying to have an example of lines with annotations. And yeah, we're using the Apex chart. For installing it, we should just go into, no, I don't want to download it. We should go into docs, installation, then use the npm install command into our CodeSpace terminal, and just run again the npm install Apex charts, and that should be all. And yeah, so continuing with this, we're trying to investigate how to run this, like how to configure this. And what we were talking about is like uh, a chart component expects four things: an object of options, an object of the series that we're going to use into that we're going to display into our chart, and the type of chart that we want to build, because Apex Charts has a different kind of charts that we can build. As you can see, like we can use line charts, area charts, column, mixed, range, and a lot of things, right? Like candlestick is the one that we use for stocks. So we're going to build that into the next stream. In this stream, we're going to build a basic line chart, and we're trying to see how to build each one of these, right? So for the options ones, I think the options ones is the most easy to do. And the only thing that I wanted to know, where did it? Blah, blah. Let me charge this again, load this again. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So we go into the component and let me see the options and value, and we're going to have options. So yeah, that is what I wanted to copy. And we're going to build something like this. So let's try to copy this. And so we're going to build a chart. This chart is going to have an index, the index.js file. Yeah, it's this one, right? So then we're going to have the options.js constant that is going to be an constant that we're going to export const options, and it is an object of options, and we're going to do this in this way. So right, we are going to have the y-axis, and we're going to expect a number, a string, the border color, and things like that, right? So, all right. So this y-axis is going to be, instead of doing this, where did it change? Like, I think it changed like this. Instead of doing that, I'm not going to complicate my life. I'm just going to go into the state that is this schema, and I'm going to use the options here. So let me get all the options here and just copy everything here. Go again into the code space, and instead of doing this, I'm going to everything here. And now we have options, annotations. I think in annotations we don't want anything. So let me see. Well, annotations ends here. So no, this is points. So let me just see where does the annotations ends. Yeah, it ends here. So we should just delete everything here. And voila. So it's annotations, y-axis. I don't want anything in my y-axis. So signal should just close this. Chart is going to have this. The height, the type, the data labels, the script stemline, the grid padding, the title line with annotations. In this case, is going to be Apple stock market. It's going to be aligned to left, where in this case, you want in the center. And labels, I'm not going to put anything into labels for this occasion. So let's see what happens. I don't pass labels. The x-axis is going to be and the series I don't have any kind of series right now, so I'm just going to pass an empty object. And yeah, so now for doing this, we should export const chart, and it is going to be a function with some props. It's going to function that is going to return for now nothing. So we're going to return anything, and we're going to export default part, and with that we should be okay. So with this, I think I should import the chart right here. Apex chart is the React component. This is stage series. All right. The only thing that I'm not liking about this is like React that I don't have any kind of good documentation for the examples, right? React Apex chart sample. Um, right. So because it's taken by so let me see if this gives us a better example. Getting started. PM JSON server. So we start the component chart. All right. So we first. So React Apex Charts is another library that we're installing. I think so. So React Apex Charts and React Apex Charts. Yeah. So we installed the which version? Yeah, we install Apex Charts. So we should start install the React Apex Chart options. So the prob, the type, the series with hide option or such. Yeah, there you go. So we first import a chart from the React app, React chart. So we should import this and we should return a chart. So we have a chart. And this chart is going to expect four types of things, right? And this chart is going to expect a type, a series, a width, a height, and an option. So with this, we will have type equal to line. Options is going to be equal to something. Height is going to be equal to 500, and width is going to be equal to 500, and the series is going to be equal to something else. Right, so we have series with height options type, and now we should cover all these options, right? So we have options, charge is equal to basic bar, x-axis, category, series name, All right, so we have. So let's render these just for configuration instead of rendering everything, right? So we have state options. We're going to import it from here. Instead of doing this, let me change this into this. It's going to be equal to this, I think. I forget to add something. So we have the state. We have options. Yeah, I think you forget to add this. So we have options, the chart, the option, the series, Oh yeah. Was this one? I have one that I don't need. So I have this one, series, and then I think I need another one. So I have this one, it closes here, this one it closes, this one closes, series, this one closes, Then I have this one closes, yeah. Sorry for that, so yeah. Okay, so I have the ID, the chart, and options value. And and then forgetting some things. I have this is already closing, is closing, is closing, is closing, is closing. So forgetting something close. Is comma. Oh. So first I have my options object, right? So I have my options object, then it closes, then the series ones. All right. So should I just pass this option is equal to this? Yeah, yeah. I think I had like one that was not necessary. Yeah. So I have now my options. I'm going to import them here. So import uh, options from um, from option. And I forget to add an S here. So we have the options here, and all right, yeah, yeah. Please import it. Update this. So we have option from option, then I'm going to pass option from options, and then series. Huh. Options dot options. Yeah, options dot options, and options series. Yeah, with this, I think now we have our chart, and now we need to import it into our main page. So import um, chart and chart, and now let's just get this into here. So we have chart, and so to be honest, I think we should change this to line chart so React doesn't die with all the components that we are importing. So this should be line chart. Also, the name of our function should be line chart. Line chart. And line chart. After that, should just update it. Hover chart. We have a line chart. We imported import line chart. Line chart. Yeah, so we have a line chart, right? Yeah, we have a line chart. So we have a line chart, and then we should just put it here like line chart. It changed? No, I think it does. So yeah, now let's see if we have any kind of problem right now. Oh yeah, we didn't run anything. I don't know what is that, to be honest. But yeah, let me just npm run deb, and let's see if we manage to update that and plot the chart. Okay, so it is connecting. Getting your code space ready. And while the code space is getting ready, let me just read the comments. Yeah, is the one we were watching at? It was a JavaScript object. Uh, I was doing 3D with Blender, used the most a lot. Ended up breaking Apple like for now as achievement. Yeah. Oh wow. Wow. I need 6 buttons and still like wow. 6 buttons is a lot. There are a lot of buttons. So yay, we managed to plot this chart. Yay! So now we got it. Let me just commit this and commit it into the repository. So now we see chart. So this is a big mat. It's a little step, but a big step for the humanity. Now we can see the charts. All right, so everything should be up into the repository. So let me see if it's in the repository already. So github.com. And get into the repository. Real-time data, React App. And yeah, so it is already committed. You can fork it and pull it from the forked repo. And now we can continue. So we already see the chart. So now let's try to understand how can we handle to get all the information that we want into these timestamps. So yeah, so now we have already now we see the timestamp. But the important thing to do is now is how do we manage to change these values here with the information that we're getting into the API, right? So we have options and we have indexes. So I think options should be, in this case, because it is static, it is just it is a constant. But because we're going to be changing it itself, we should create a function that gets that, right? So for the options, we should pass a state. Blah, blah, blah. Now, have the type and we have the options, but, oh, let me go into the options. Yeah, the x-axis categories are going to be the timestamps that we're going to build. But for doing that, well, we can just run a little example here. Like in that, we should pass first from the page our fetch data, and that fetch data, then we can say that we're going to get data from the props, and that data is going to be the stock info. So let's pass the stock info. Stock info is equal to stock info, and now we can go here and get into our index and pass the constructor or the construct, I think it's called. Like when you do something like const uh, stock info is equal to props, and after that, now we have our stock info. So now we know that stock info is an array of objects. So because we need to manage another thing here, we need to also get a state here, right? So import uh, use state from React, and then let's declare an options state. So const state options and set options is equal to use state, and this is a state of it's an object, right? Options. Yeah, options is just an object, so we should just declare an open object and pass all the information that we have in options, right? Option is going to be short, that is going to be ha 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 ha. Yeah. And it's something like this. And then with this, we should not be using the options here. Just options and options. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we have already the stock info state, and with the categories, we should be updating all the categories by converting first the timestamps. So with this, we should be using another function, maybe like um, after declaring our state, doing something like convert set set categories. Function like const set categories is equal to this. And then we're going to receive something, right? We're going to receive the object, or well, we can just have something like a timestamp, like timestamp. I don't know if this is a server word. It's not. So we're going to receive a timestamp, and with this, we're going to convert that timestamp into a new date, right? So for doing that, I'm not that sure. So let me just Google it, like um, how to convert timestamp to date in JS. So to convert a timestamp, how the new date constructor method to create a haha. I also apply to get hours, get minutes, and today's string compile time. Right. So console date, date format, and we should pass the timestamp, right? Yeah. All right. So let's get that date into the timestamp, and we're going to return and say something like new date, like date is equal to new date, and we're going to pass the timestamp, and then we're going to return date. These for each timestamp for each object that we are going to have, we can update the data that we're going to be updating, right? Like each category. So which should be our limit, like the first 10 ones? Like, okay, so we should use another function like const uh, fulfill fill chart that is going to be equal to this, and we're going to fill the chart with all the information. So the only thing that we need to do is to fill the categories list and the data list. For now, we're just going to get into the categories release, right? So instead of set category, it should be called the um, category, and we should first fill the chart with for um, the chart. We should run it with something like the index or the number of elements that we want. Um, and yeah, so for let e is equal to 0. So well, either is let's send the number. Continue, right? E plus plus, and then we should do something here. So for that, we should be doing that something, right? So for each object in stack option, so stack info of the index, we're going to do something with that, right? And what we're going to do is to first fill the categories. So options that get no the what yeah options dot x axis the categories that happen. Can we do that something with this? Uh, how how was the append function? Which one was the append function in JavaScript? Was it like um I don't remember, like append in and JavaScript. Is it append? Yeah, it was append. Python. Is it append? Are both of them append? Let me change this to English. Blah, 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 string up whatever. String up shares is called parameter. So deep and pay deep that up and all right. Yeah, it is happened. All right. Yeah. To be honest, totally forgot about it. But the thing about here is that categories is append set info of I. Because we don't want that. We want like um the set category of stock info of I dot I don't remember what we did we do with that. Like we put all the results here, right? So yeah, it is just a t dot t. Hmm. Yeah, I think so. We should just console log it. So let me inspect this and we should return the date. And after that, we should first. All right, but how do we fill the chart? Now it's yeah, now it's right. So for doing this, we should do this is instead of doing this here, we should make it right. Yeah, we should do all this information into the parent, uh, the parent component, so we can run the just so we can run this just one time. And um, let me paste this in here. Help me configure how the option, how let me format the document. Right, so we have a fill chart option, and this fill chart should be fulfilled in the use effect, I think. Yeah, yeah. All right, so we should use this here. All right. Yeah, so because we need the options, yeah. So getting the info, we should first fill chart. All right, so when the page loads, first gets the info, and after getting the info, it fills the chart. After getting the info, it fills the chart, and when we run the fill chart, we pass a number, and we fill the chart with the first 10 first elements of the number. So we're going to say options that exist that categories that appends set category of the stock info. Hmm. But we should, yeah, we don't want to run this here. We wanted to run it when we already have the stock info filled already. So we should use it here in the use effect of the stock info. So I'm sorry if I'm like making a lot of things. I'm going to try to explain it later. Um, well, I think we have enough time here. So what I'm thinking of is like, um, hey, thing that you don't that you can do in React is you cannot run use effect in child components. So because this is my main component of the page, I cannot run a use effect inside my line chart because React can explode. Like yeah, it's like a rule that React has. To be honest, I don't remember why we cannot do it. I think it is because we will mess with the kind of line of renderings and the hooks that are configured right now. But yeah, to be honest, I cannot remember right now. And yeah, so yeah, so we first get the information from the API. After getting the information from the API, we wait the until we update the set stock info. Well, the stock info with the results that the API gave to us. And after that, we do something with that. Like, hey, I already filled my stock info state with something. all right, so if I have something in that state, then I can do some things, right? So we're declaring the field chart function that receives a number. This number is going to be the limit of numbers that I want. And with those numbers, we can start here like, hey, I've already declared my options state. Um, we're going to first fulfill all the categories that are the x-axis um, labels, and then we're going to append it like we're going to append um, each element from 0 to the number that we want. Uh, we're going to fulfill the categories list with that information. Basically, we're going to fulfill uh, from the from the element in the zero index in the stock info. Remember, stock info is an array, so we're going to take the information from the index 0 to the index 10. Yeah. Now to the index 9, and we're going to fulfill my categories list with that information. And that information is the timestamp. But because we don't want the timestamp to display there, we are going to convert it first into a new date. So we're passing a timestamp. This timestamp is the value t that we have here, and we're converting it as a new date. So so we are converting it as a new date. We pass the timestamp, then we return the date, and that date is the one who is going to be displaying it into the information. So yeah, then after all this declaration, we're going to run the field chart function. And after that, we're going to console log the, hey, now I'm a date information log. We're going to bring that information. So for doing this, let me just make sure how many do we have? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, have 8, 9, 12, 11, 10. All right, so we have enough data. Now let me see if this works or we have an error. Window is not defined where have charts result. Oh yeah. So we have the options and we should pass line charts in the options state that it's going to be here. It's equal to options. Options is we're passing the state. Yeah, we're passing the state options. And let me go into the line chart. So we are already here. So we have the stock info and we have the, so we don't need the stock info. So we just need the options. And we're going to pass options here and options at series and options, yeah. So now with this, everything should be up. Let me just run this again and see the console. Returns null. Why it returns null? Let me just clear this, run this again, and see what do we have here. So let's compile the page. All right, so we have the real time, the window is not defined. All right. So what is going on? Can I return on reading T? All right. Reading T. All right, so we're going to have something here. All right, so we have an error here, but we have just 5 units here. Right, so what do we have to do? What can we do here? So we have the error right here in the index, in the page, right here, and let me just go here, and let me just print spec info of I. All right, so no, I don't want this. Oh, what is going on? What is going on? What is? It got crazy from what? What is going on? What is going on? I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but I think it is plotting itself like thousands of times. No, we have the same error. Uh, what is going on? Right, so we have an error, and I don't know what is going on here. All right. Huh. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm printing itself. Sorry for that. It was console log. Like my mind is into Python. Sometimes it's in Python, sometimes it's in other way. Right, so we have we have what's stack info of T, right? This case. Yes, we have. Right, so let me just run this again. Reading T, so you cannot do it. So if stack info of I dot T, yes, then do this. But if not, so let me see if this compiled well. So do we have the same error? Yeah. Well, we have still 2 minutes, so I think we have getting to the end of the stream with an error that we're going to get in. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry for that. Yeah, like I said, my mind was in Python right now. But yeah, just let me render itself one last time until I see everything gets up. And sorry for that. We have an error right now. I don't know. Like we're going to solve it later, but I think we're going to solve it later, so don't worry about it. We're going to solve it in the next stream, that is Friday. But until now, yeah, I hope that you learned like some things, like how to fetch things, how do the use effect work, and like all those things, the things that we saw right now. That was like a summary is that we learned how to use use effect, how to use use state, how to use React, how to use Next.js, how to install things in the npm, and also we learned how to use this React library called Apex Charts that lets us plot things data, like plot data into React. So we're going to continue with this, and yeah, let me commit it with the error. I'm going to commit it right now. So error with the fulfillment, and yeah, confirm that, and it should be already in the repository. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you Friday, and don't forget to register into all your activities, and maybe we have a raffle. So So yeah, see ya. I think that should be all. So see ya on Friday.